hug your cornerman one more time, and then you get greased up and step in that cage. And at that point, it is when they start announcing your name and your sponsorships and all that, and you hear the crowd go wild. And honestly, I don't even really hear the crowd go wild, because at that point you go into tunnel vision, and you're like, here we go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Think Big Bodybuilding Media. I'm Scott McNally, and today I thought we'd do something a little bit different. I thought it would be fun to compare and contrast getting ready for a bodybuilding show versus getting ready for an MMA fight. So I have with me today a good friend and great all-around dude, Ryan Delf. He is a pro MMA fighter. He's had a lot of experience competing in bodybuilding, and we're just going to get down to it. If you guys enjoy this content, then do me a favor, hit the like button, leave us a comment, and if you are new here, then I suggest you subscribe, because we have several podcasts coming out each week. We'd love to have you around for all of them.
So, when I met you, you first were getting involved with competitive bodybuilding. I watched you diet down, do some shows and stuff. But this is not like your first foray into a competitive sport. You'd been a fighter before that. And right. Since then, man, I've been following along. You just had a fight. You're getting ready for another one. I thought it'd be fun to bring you on. First of all, just catch up with you, maybe introduce you to a few people who haven't seen you before on the YouTube page. And I wanted to kind of compare and contrast prepping for a fight versus prepping for a bodybuilding show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so I just had a fight, getting ready for another fight. As far as like compare and contrast to bodybuilding and the whole fighting world, man, it's a lot different. And right off the top of my head, the main thing that sticks out to me, bodybuilding is all day long, every day, right? So you do your training, you do your cardio, but then where bodybuilding becomes all day long, everything you put in your mouth, you're working. That's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Whereas MMA and fighting, like, you have your training, you kick your ass, you do your cardio, you do all that. But when training's done, I mean, should you stick to a diet? Yes. But is it really that important? It's not like bodybuilding where you have to worry about how you're going to look, so like when the training's done, it's like, shit, I'm going to go eat 3 pizzas. If you don't have to cut weight, I'm going to go have some cheeseburgers and a couple beers. So that's where it's different, like when it comes to the dietary restrictions. And for me, I'm a heavyweight, so I can eat whatever I want and chill around 260. And the cutoff for heavyweight is 265. So I can eat whatever I want, and it's awesome.
I saw this guy you just fought most recently. He was like 100 pounds over the top end of the weight, huh? What's up with that?
So this dude that I just fought, so originally I was supposed to fight a guy that would have come in underweight. So that would have come in around 260. Okay. But we had that, I don't know if you saw it on the news or anything, that windstorm, they called it the derecho, that came through Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Man, it was an inland hurricane, what happened. And I mean, there was trees and shit getting like ripped out of the ground.
No kidding.
And long story short, a tree ripped out of the ground and landed on my opponent's truck as he was driving, broke his back.
Holy crap.
So this was like a month before the fight.
Yeah.
So he was in the hospital, he's recovering, and they had to find me a replacement, and they found this guy I ended up fighting.
Okay.
He weighed in at 320 pounds, 55 pounds over the maximum for heavyweight.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, and
all muscle too.
Oh, dude, very soft, very soft. And I should have speed bagged them titties a little bit, but I started pounding on and forgot to do that. But yeah, and then the commission, gives me the option if I still want to fight him or not. And I'm like, well, yeah, I trained for this. I'm still going to fight the dude.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, come fight time, because he was cutting from 390. So the next day, he was probably 340 just from water and meals. So he cut 70 pounds in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And the next day, during the fight day, he did look huge. But
so he was probably getting closer to 400 again then by the time he was loaded back up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of human being, man.
Yeah. And I mean, whether it's all muscle or not, and whether he's in shape or not, that's still weight, So I was like, okay, I'm gonna wreck this dude still, but I got to watch out for a big right hand, and I don't want to get stuck underneath him.
No, God,
so, I mean,
no.
Yeah, fight day, he was probably 90 pounds heavier than me because I weighed in at 259, and the day of the fight I was 259.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he was probably, like I said, 350, 340.
Yeah.
But went out, ended up taking him down and ground and pounding him with some vicious hammer fists that were awesome. So I'll have to send you a video of that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The only video I have right now is from somebody's Facebook Live, so it's not like it's
okay, it's
you
not
know,
like...
an official video.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. How does the wife feel about you fighting? You know, because I feel like I feel like you're in a relationship. You always want your significant other to be safe. And I mean, how does she feel about knowing that you could get your face pounded in doing this?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Haley's definitely, she's concerned about it, but she knows like that I do this and that I'm not going to go in and freaking die. I mean, there's the potential that you could get hit just right and die, but
sure.
We both assume the risk, you know, and Haley loves that I fight. She fucking loves it. Oh yeah, she loves it, and she's obviously like my biggest supporter. Always we're each other's biggest supporters, but no, she really enjoys it, and she talks about she's like, you know, I get more nervous than you, I think. She's like, so is this how it was when you came and watched me at bodybuilding competitions? You know, you would get like an adrenaline rush and butterflies and like get up and pace around and shit. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I get more jacked for her than I do for myself, you know? So,
yeah.
But for me, like when I'm in the cage, I'm in tunnel vision and I'm just ready to go. So, she really enjoys it.
How do you feel at that time? I can think about, you know, when I was a kid getting in fights, it's kind of like, it's a less controlled, you know, you're doing this as a skill, you know, I think when you're a kid and you're fighting, it's more like out of anger. There's a lot more,
right,
you know, hostility that you're just unleashing, and it's not necessarily like this planned thing. It just happens. Versus getting into this situation that you're in, man. There's a lot of planning that goes into this. When you actually get to that point, I mean, what are you feeling?
Yeah, it is definitely different than a street fight. You know, a street fight, like you said, happens like that usually, and you can experience an adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
You know, your legs are shaking, you're going crazy, you feel like you're not punching hard, all that. When it comes to an actual sanctioned MMA fight, one, you've been training for it the whole time, so mentally you should at least think you're prepared. Two, like you're in the back warming up, and you kind of, if you're aware, you should try to control your adrenaline. You don't want to dump it too early.
Yeah.
You know,
well, explain that. What do you mean?
Oh, you just gotta try to relax and keep your heart rate nice and level and chill, and almost kind of zone out and almost don't even think about the fight for a little bit. You know, like just find some music or whatever, just talk with your buddies, bullshit backstage.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and then when that walkout, when you start warming up, you get that blood pumping, got a little sweat going, then you're like, okay, it's getting real. You know, there's like 2 fights before you. But for me personally, I don't get nervous really. You know, I might get anxious, like, okay, let's freaking get it going, but I don't get nervous. And yeah, and then you make that walk down the catwalk with the smoke and mirrors going, and
your bagpipes. You had the bagpipes playing. That was cool, man.
My walkout song, I had bagpipes, and you said it gave you goosebumps.
Yeah, it gave me chills like watching that, because I knew you were going to be doing this, and then I see you walking out. It was so epic, man. It was cool.
Yeah, no, the walkout's pretty cool, especially like in my hometown. So the organization I've been fighting for is called Caged Aggression, and they're a feeder to LFA, which a lot of people may not have heard of, but they're a higher level organization. And then the UFC, there's a lot of people from Caged Aggression who've made it to the actual UFC. And but this organization is in my hometown. So when I walk out, a lot of people, they're my friends and family and stuff. So it's pretty cool to have that feeling of them cheering you on and stuff. And then you get out there and hug your cornerman one more time, and then you get greased up and step in that cage. And at that point, it is when they start announcing your name and your sponsorships and all that, and you hear the crowd go wild. And honestly, I don't even really hear the crowd go wild, because at that point you go into tunnel vision, and you're like, here we go. But when you're in that octagon, you don't want to be so tunnel vision to the point where you're not consciously there. You know what? I've had that happen to me in the cage before, where you almost just go back to instinct, instead of focusing on, okay, here's the game plan, here's what I know I can do, here's what I need to showcase. And this last fight, I felt very comfortable in there, and I was still conscious of everything that I was doing, and I remember everything that happened, which doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
So, but it's a hell of an experience. That anybody that's got the balls to do it should do it at least once. It's fun.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. How long was this prep, and how long do you usually prepare for a fight? And let's compare that against bodybuilding, because I mean, everybody watching this channel knows all about a bodybuilding prep. I mean, I think there's got to be a good, we'll say 30-40% of us that have done it, and the other, 60% have all, been fans. Preps are anywhere from 12 to, we'll say 24 weeks. I'd say 16 to 20 is probably pretty average.
Yeah. I'd say the average fight camp is 8 to 12 weeks.
Okay.
And that's going, you still kind of ramp it up hard until the last week, and then it's just kind of maintaining at that point and make sure you don't get hurt. This fight was interesting because it was originally scheduled for, I think, like the end of March, and we all know that COVID hit in March, so this got postponed.
Yeah.
And so I was in shape in like February for this, right, cardio wise, ready to go, ready to fight. And then COVID happened, got postponed. So I continued training that whole time. I mean, I kind of went, I might have taken a couple days off here and there, and you had to get drunk every now and then. But I knew the fight wasn't happening until September. But so I really probably kicked it back in gear in July to get ready for this September fight. But yeah, so I'd say the average fight camp is 8 to 12 weeks. And then, yeah, like you said, the average bodybuilding prep is probably 16 to 20 weeks.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me about the cardio then, because when I say I'm doing cardio for bodybuilding, I'm doing most likely slow, steady state. I know a guy out here who fights, he actually used to be an enforcer for here. And
nice.
A really intense dude. I wouldn't want to fight him personally, but he's got such like high cardio levels. And what he's done is like, this is even before COVID. He trained in his backyard, and he said he had this log that, depending on if it rained or not, it would get soaked up with water. So some days it would be heavier than others. And he's out there and he's like pressing this thing up, and then he's doing a zillion push-ups, and then he's doing all these pull-ups. Like, for him, that's cardio. He's building his cardio endurance so that he doesn't gas out, when he fights. What does cardio look like for you?
Yeah, cardio, like you said, for bodybuilding, it's like brisk walking, or stair stepper or something like that. Yeah,
on my phone, watching a podcast,
Yeah, get something nice on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking. So cardio for me, fight wise, I do a lot of jogging, just basic jogging. A professional fight is 3 rounds, 5 minutes a round, right? Okay. So I need to be able to at least jog for 15 minutes. That'll be like my warm up or something. Yeah. And then cardio, even like bag work, I'll set the timer for 5 minutes, and I'm staying busy on the heavy bag. And I'll do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds on there, maybe 40 minutes. And that's just burning up your shoulders, getting your punching stamina there, but also your lungs. So cardio, you're good to go there. This is something that you might find interesting. So training wise, like actual weight training, I still do kind of the power building stuff, like more like the Dorian and Ronnie style, where you're still doing some of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reps on like your heavy deadlifts, bench, squat. Okay. But then I'm doing a lot of the bodybuilding rep range too. I'm still, I still want to look good and be strong. So I'm doing a lot of the 6 to 12 stuff, hypertrophy range. And then, but I also do a lot of muscular endurance rounds is what I would say. So I might put, like I posted that one video of me benching. I might put 225 on the bar and bench it for 50 reps.
Yeah, then, I saw you. That was even a goal of yours. There was a record in like the combine, the football combine. Somebody had X amount of reps with 225. What was that record, and how long had you been working on trying to match that?
Yeah, I just randomly Googled one day, like what's the NFL combine bench press record, and it was 51 reps set back in like 1999, I think, by some giant lineman. I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, yeah, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna see what I can do it for one day. The first day I got 36. I'm like, okay, not bad. Next week I tried it, got, I don't know, 40 something, and then kind of forgot about it. And then I came back and did it, and got like 53 or something. So I got it.
Nice.
It's not on video, so there's no proof, but I'll have to record it next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I might do like 225, 5 sets to failure, and get probably 100 reps there. And then I like to set up, I'm not going to call it CrossFit because that's gay, but I'll call it cross training. No, CrossFit has its place. Cross training, I'll set up, like a 500-pound tractor tire.
Yeah.
And let's say do 10 tire flips, and then go into 10 sledgehammers alternating on the tire, and then briskly walk in and do 5 deadlifts with, say, like 405. So like a pretty good weight, not super crazy, but a good weight. And then go into like 2 box jumps, like hurdle jumps, and then walk straight to the bench press where you have 315 preloaded on it, and then hit it for 10 reps.
Yeah.
And then return back, 2 box jumps, back to the deadlift, back to the tire flip, back to the sledgehammer, and then take a break. So stuff like that. So I'm still lifting, but that heart rate is pumping while doing that. It's intense.
Right on, man. So overall, what's harder? Bodybuilding? Fighting? I see at the end of the day, man, no matter what happens at a bodybuilding show, you're not getting your face bashed in. Whether you win or lose in fighting, you're probably going to get hit in the face. So there is that.
Yeah. What's harder? That's a tough question because they both have their hard things about it. Like you said, fighting, you're going to get beat up. It's more brutal. Training is probably, it's more strenuous.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't say more strenuous. It's more difficult. Like you're going to be gassed, like cardio wise. You're going to be dead after training if you went all out.
Yeah. Probably more like a traditional gassed or beat up from training. Like I think that when people who are outside of either sport think of exercise, they probably picture more of like Rocky. They picture more of doing what you're doing for that. Versus bodybuilding is hard, but there's a lot of, okay, let me ask you this. There's a lot of mental aspects, I think, to bodybuilding. Is there the mental struggles with fighting?
Yep. That's where I was going next.
Okay.
There's the mental stuff of fighting, but for me personally, the mental aspect of bodybuilding is much harder. Much harder. Like I kind of talked about earlier, the diet, eating all day long. You have the mental aspect of, a lot of people struggle with sticking to what's on their meal plan. They get cravings and all that. If in a fight, or when you're training for a fight, you get a craving. If you don't have to cut weight, you get a craving for ice cream. I'm going to have the damn ice cream. Bodybuilding, you can't have that damn ice cream or you're going to look like crap. You're going to be watery as shit when you get on stage, AKA fat. So, I'd say bodybuilding is mentally tougher.
Okay.
Mentally for the fight, you have that anxiety of like, oh crap, a week from now I'm getting in the cage.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, bodybuilding, oh crap, a week from now I got to look spot on, or I'm going to look ridiculous in front of all these people on stage under the lights showing all my flaws.
Yeah.
So that's kind of similar in that ways, but
right on.
Yeah. Bodybuilding is more mentally taxing on you throughout the whole day.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard people say that about other sports too. I mean, like pro basketball players are giving all they have while they're practicing, while they're playing, but they could go out and still eat other foods, and they have some downtime. I guess in bodybuilding we don't really get that downtime. You know what else we don't get a lot of times? Most of us, we don't get paid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you're fighting at a level that allows you to actually get paid to step in the ring. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. And actually, that's one of the reasons I kind of took a hiatus from competing in bodybuilding right now, because I'm paying to go compete at these shows. Like I went and competed in Puerto Rico last summer, or in 2019. You know, that cost us several grand to go down to Puerto Rico, and it's cool, it's fun, got a little vacation out of it.
Yeah,
but I didn't make any money doing that.
Right.
I make some personal training clients off of it from being shredded, and people like, oh, I want to look like that or whatever.
Yeah.
But fighting, I can actually make, you know, thousands of dollars doing it. So it's kind of a no-brainer for me right now. I'm like, I'm going to give this whole fighting thing another push and see what happens. And yeah, you know, it depends on what your record is, who you are and all that, but you can make X amount of dollars. And then usually you make X amount of ticket sales, a percentage of ticket sales. And then this one was on pay-per-view. So every pay-per-view that I sold personally, I made 20% of. So, you know, it all adds up. And then sponsorships is where, until you get to that UFC level or Bellator, you're not making a ton of money. And even then, those lower level guys aren't making a ton of money.
Okay.
But so especially like at the regional level of fighting, of MMA, you're going to need sponsorships to really make a dollar at it.
Okay. Okay. So sponsorships. I mean, I've seen fighters reach out. So it's something where I've seen fighters reach out a lot more often to like local companies. And I've seen companies that may have nothing to do with fighting get involved with sponsorship. What kind of sponsors did you put together for this last fight that you had?
Yeah, I think all of my sponsors I'd consider them local companies. And
really?
Like you said, basically none of them had anything to do with MMA or fighting. I had one supplement company, so I guess that one could kind of count. But other than that, they're just all local businesses like landscaping, or I have a towing and auto repair. I have a realtor family who works for Rule and Rule Realty that sponsors me, chiropractic services, you know, stuff like that, a tree care service, all that. But, you know, I locked in 15 sponsors and they're all paying me X amount of dollars, and that adds up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's nice. And I don't really go out and say, hey guys, knock on the door. Hey guys, can you sponsor me? I'll just make a broad Facebook post saying, hey, anybody who's interested in sponsoring, contact me. I'll give you the details. These are the options I have going on, blah, blah, blah. And hopefully people reach out, and they do. And I've found that being nice to people over the years and being able to communicate with people, it's worked out. You know, it's karma paying off, I guess.
So you're telling me being a decent human being has its benefits. It
has its benefits. Yeah. I like to think I'm a decent human being usually. But, you know, I try to support people when I can, and then I guess it's karma coming back in full circle.
Yeah. What do they get out of it? What would a sponsor get out of working with you?
Right. Yeah. So I in general, I'd say I'll make like Facebook advertisements for them, say once a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just give them a Facebook and Instagram shout out, and then other people share it. So, you know, they're at least their logo is being seen, or maybe some of their products are being seen by, you know, several thousand people after people share it, which is not bad in our local area. And then they get announced at the fight. If I get shirts made, they get their logo on the shirt. So there's walking billboards everywhere around town with their logo on it.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm getting a banner made for this one. So anybody who pays the highest premium of sponsorship this go around is getting on the banner,
nice.
Which will be broadcasted on pay-per-view worldwide. So this last one was sold in 4 or 5 different countries.
No kidding.
So, I mean, people are seeing it. So it's cool.
That's cool, man. My first sponsor ever was Nicoles BBQ.
Yeah,
nothing to do with bodybuilding, but they sponsored me. They paid for my gym membership, and they have great food. Hey guys, if you're in Detroit, head over to Nicoles BBQ, just south of 9 Mile.
Nice.
Yes, off Telegraph Road. That's cool, man. That's really cool. Hey guys, why are you using sports nutrition that was designed for someone else?
At TrueNutrition.com, they offer the world's largest selection of quality protein powders, and they let you design your own custom blend from a variety of powders, flavors, boosts, and packaging options, like the Team Skip blend, for instance. That's over 20 billion possible combinations to create a protein powder tailored to your diet, your goals, your tastes, and your budget. TrueNutrition.com also offers the ability to create delicious custom oatmeal blends, and they're third-party tested, proving that all their supplements are ensured to have the highest level of quality and value. Don't be a sucker and pay for fancy packaging and gimmicks. Discover the source that bodybuilders trust and stop using mass-produced nutrition that wasn't designed for you. TrueNutrition.com, and use our code ADVICES at checkout to let them know that you support the shows.
So you just had this fight. You're getting ready for another one now. You said this one's going to be what, middle of October?
Yeah, October 17th. It's a Saturday.
Okay.
And anybody interested out there, you can watch it on pay-per-view. It's not pay-per-view like off of your cable or DirecTV provider. It's a web stream thing. It's a internet streamed pay-per-view. So cagedaggression.tv, and you'll be able to buy it for $25, $24.99.
I'll put the link in the description at the YouTube in case anybody's interested. And if you have, and it sounds like too that you'll actually see a percentage of that if they use a code or.
Yeah, so when you go to purchase it, you select. So this is a 2-night event. So you'll select Caged Aggression, whatever this one's called, night 2, and then you select your fighter preference. So select Ryan Delph, and then I'll get a cut of that at the end.
That's cool,
so
man. Yes,
anything's appreciated.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways here that you can make some money. Tell me about what you're going into now. This fight that's coming. This fight that's coming up. Now, do you know the guy that you're going to be fighting and what his situation is?
Yeah. I can't say his name yet because they haven't officially released the matchup.
Okay.
But yeah, he's I believe he's out of Peoria, Illinois. He's 1-1 as a pro. He went 7-0 as an amateur.
Yeah.
He was an amateur title holder, so I mean he's no slouch, but he's 1-1. He's still pretty green from the 2 videos I've seen.
Okay.
Claims to be a tough wrestler, but wrestling is my main forte. So if he thinks he's going to out wrestle me, he's fucking smoking crack or something. But his one loss was to a guy who was 1-0 as a pro, and then his one win is against a guy who was 0-0. So I think they made their debut together.
Okay.
And so he hasn't fought anybody super tough to my knowledge yet. But,
okay.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. He's at least going to be in my weight class, I think. So
okay.
We talked about the last guy who came in way overweight. Last year in 2019, I had my heavyweight debut.
Yeah.
And that guy weighed in at 300 pounds too. So I'm like,
I
what the heck?
That.
So this is my 3rd fight at heavyweight, and but technically it'll be my first fight at heavyweight because those other 2 were basically like super heavyweight fights, you know.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's like 6'1" and 260, I think. So we're close to the same size. Yep.
Right on, man.
I'm ready to get it. Put the hurting on him.
That's cool. So I got to ask you now, this is kind of like a little bit of almost like the less glamorous side of fighting. And that is, I don't know if there's any, I don't know, maybe there's a statistic, maybe there has been a fighter who's won every fight he's fought, but we don't always win, you know?
Right.
And I can tell you firsthand, getting your ass kicked and losing in a fight is not fun.
No.
Tell me about, you know, where are you at as a professional fighter when that happens? Yeah.
Man, losing. You ever heard the speech, "The Man in the Arena"?
No.
You have to. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly who was the author of that speech, but the man in the arena sounds exactly what it is. It's like basically you got all these people out here talking shit, right? Oh, he could have done that. He should have done that.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't he do that? Oh, he sucked.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to remember you were the one in there doing it. These people are out here beating off, doing whatever they're doing, getting drunk with their girlfriends and buddies.
Yeah. It looks like it was Roosevelt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're in there putting your, I mean, honestly, technically your life on the line, or at least your health on the line.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, if you do lose, which almost everybody's at least one person in that cage is gonna lose.
Yeah.
Unless there's a draw, I guess. But so you just got to remember that, like, you're the one that put the work in. You were the one that was in there and actually did it. So these people can say what they want, but you were the one that did it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, especially like fighting in your hometown, or like for me in my hometown, we have, like, they allow 3,000 people into the event.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, these people know you, and they're, oh yeah, he's a badass, whatever. And then you go and get your ass kicked. Then they're like, oh man, he kind of looked like shit that fight, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or when you get to the higher levels, let's say you're in UFC, and there's tens of millions of people buying the pay-per-view, plus, I don't know, 20,000 people, 30,000 people in the venue, and you get your ass kicked, man, that's demoralizing. That's like instant depression for real.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and it can carry over. It kind of did to me last year when I lost against that one guy who came way in over.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I just wanted to drink for like a month after that.
Shit.
And that's when Haley was getting ready for her show,
Yeah.
her pro debut, and then she was all pissed at me and stuff. I'm like, I'm just burnt out. Just let me chill. I want to do my own thing. But it was just like a clashing time, So
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But yeah, losing is not fun.
you hadn't mentioned that, but just I gathered that. I picked up, when you had lost that one, I could tell it was, something, and that's what made me think to actually ask you, because I could see that it was something that, it would have an effect, and I think it would have an effect on anyone. Dude, losing period is just not fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it really does make you check everything. The same is true. I'll tell you what, man, the same is true at bodybuilding. If you think you're a badass and then you get up there and you get your butt handed to you, it puts you in your place for sure, man. It makes you really kind of reconsider, ask a lot of real deep questions,
Yeah, absolutely. Or even when it comes to bodybuilding, even if you do well, but then those pictures come out, the real stage photos, and you're like, oh fuck, I look like shit. I look like shit compared to what you thought you looked like,
Right.
Maybe they caught you when you were relaxed or something, but you shouldn't be relaxing,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, even that hurts. So
yeah, no, there's no question about that, man. So I know too that you, I've seen, now that you guys have your own gym, you've been working with people. Like, looks like you're training people to fight now. How's that going?
Yeah. Everything at the gym's going really well. We're still training our regular bodybuilders and lifestyle clients, personal training clients, but also training fighters now too, which has been really cool. And one guy in particular, I'm going to give him a shout out, Sean West. He's also a trainer at our gym, and he does mainly like lifestyle clients or weight loss clients and fighters too.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a professional fighter who I actually hire to work on my stand-up game with.
Okay.
He's a professional MMA fighter, professional boxer, professional kickboxer, and professional bare knuckle boxer.
Oh shit.
So he's like a 155, 145 pounder. He's a littler guy.
Yeah.
But he's a beast, and he's got my hands crisp. My stand-up game is pretty good now, and I've never been more confident fight-wise than I have been since working with him.
No kidding.
And but he's also hired me as his strength and conditioning coach. So we've been bouncing off each other, and 2 days a week I might work with him, 3 days a week he might work with me, vice versa, something like that. But it's been really cool because, like I said, he's a pro boxer. He just had a fight with the PCB out in professional championship or professional boxing champions out in Los Angeles like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I got to fly out with him and corner him, and it was on Fox Sports. Like, it's pretty cool getting to travel with him, to be one of his cornermen and help him out and see his progress getting stronger and leaner, and
hell yeah,
and see him be like, boxing coaches always tell me, like, don't lift weights because you're gonna get bulky and you're gonna be slow.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, we're not powerlifting here, Sean. We're gonna do muscular endurance work. So you're gonna look better, you're gonna be stronger, but you're also gonna feel like you're gonna have more power.
Yeah.
And the stamina is gonna be there. And he's like, man, I feel like I can punch hard as fuck now. So it's been fun working with fighters and my regular bodybuilders and lifestyle clients.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah, I feel like strength and I feel like bodybuilding, exercise, weightlifting, I'll say, resistance training. I feel like resistance training would give you such an edge, man. I feel like having been a bodybuilder, having experienced that and lifting the way you do, it just would make you so much stronger.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And you think about getting punched or kicked.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have any meat on your bones, that's gonna freaking hurt. You know, like
Yeah.
adding some meat, you can absorb some of that. You can take a little bit more of a beating. I would think it makes sense to me. I mean, I've noticed it myself.
Yeah.
So in myself. So people that aren't strength training that fight, I think it's crazy. It might not need to be your number one priority, but you should at least be doing it. Any sport. Yeah, tennis players should be freaking strength training.
Oh,
You know?
yeah. No question, man. For anybody who might be vacationing in lovely Iowa, where do they find you guys?
So our gym is Delph's Pro Gym. We are right in the middle of Davenport, Iowa. Just Facebook us. We're out there. And that's also where the fight's going to be, Davenport, Iowa. You might want to come vacation in Iowa. We're like the 5th freest state when it comes to COVID restrictions.
No kidding.
I'll tell you this. I've worn a mask twice this whole freaking COVID lockdown because
Really?
we don't have to wear them here. The only 2 times I wore them was once when I had to go to Los Angeles for that fight, and then another time when we went to South Dakota, which is actually the freest when it comes to COVID restrictions, but the athletic commission made us wear a mask when I was cornering them. So those are the 2 times I've worn a mask so far.
No kidding,
and
man.
So if you guys want to come hang out, you want to come lift in a gym, come on to Iowa.
Hell yeah. And you guys decided to open that place up. Basically, I mean, it wasn't really the intention. Like it wasn't like we had this shutdown and you're like, hey, we're going to open a gym, but it happened to line up that way pretty much, huh?
Yeah, actually, glad you mentioned that. It was pretty nerve-wracking at first. So
I bet.
we bought the gym, I think, on March 11th.
Okay.
Like we fished over, a good chunk of money. We're like, okay, we're all excited. And then I think March 17th is when the initial lockdown happened. And they're like, okay, nobody can do anything, basically. Like, oh, crap. And but long story short, it became a blessing in disguise because Haley and I were both trainers at another gym. So we were forced not to work because of the lockdown. Yeah. And it gave us time to go in, clean. It was a gym before, but it was more like a super dungeon kind of dirty garage gym, right?
Okay.
So it gave us time to go in and clean and paint everything and moving equipment, moving matting and flooring and all kinds of stuff and start advertising. Yeah. And so it was a blessing in disguise, but we ended up officially opening May 15th was our first official opening day.
Okay, right on. And, you guys got good stuff over there. We were nervous
there.
I bet, dude. I bet, man. Yeah, I heard a statistic that 60% of people said they weren't going to be returning to their gyms when the gyms open. This was, a couple months ago that stat was out. I think part of those people were just like the really lazy ones that were looking for an excuse not to come back anyway,
Right, right.
But yeah, that's scary, man. I do think the overall, I think that the climate's going to change, but everything I've seen from what you guys are doing, it seems like a really cool little community that you're building over there. The people that you're working with, they look like they're really engaged. And I feel like just everything you're saying too, man, it's like if you have the right people in your life, you can take your fitness, whatever your goals are, be it fighting, be it bodybuilding, be it just getting into better shape. If you have a good community around you, I think you can push those goals just that much further.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. It's been really cool so far. So our gym, we only have about 2,200 square feet in there. So it's not a very big gym. Yeah. So we're a little bit more expensive because of that, but we're, around here, the average gym's probably like $30 a month. Okay. We charge $57 a month. But like I said, we can't have 100 people in there at once. Okay. So we're not a private gym, but we're almost more of a private gym. Like at any time there'll be 0 to 15 people in our gym training. And so, but on average, I'd say there's like 4 people in there at any given point throughout the day. Right. And that's about it. So it's almost like a private gym, and it's really cool because we know every single member's name. Yeah. We're like at least, if not friends with them, we're good acquaintances with every single member in our gym. Yeah. And we've been building, it's almost like our little gym family. It's a community. And everybody in our gym, we have a spectrum of all walks of life, right? It's Delph's Pro Gym. And we've had people like, do you have to be like a pro athlete to be here? We're like, no, it's just the fucking name. It's like how we say this is a hardcore gym. Yeah. But we have competitive bodybuilders, professional fighters, amateur fighters. But then I call them our soccer moms, right? We have our middle-aged women who come in and just want to get in better shape, but everybody that comes in our gym gets to work, which is awesome. So
that's cool.
We've built the environment and the atmosphere in there where you come in and like, you know, it's time to at least work. You're not going to sit there on your phone the whole time.
Yeah.
So we've got the type of clientele we want. I should say that.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate your time, Ryan. I thought, like I said, it'd just be fun to hop on a call because A, I hadn't talked to you in a while, and B, you're in a very different place. Last time I saw you, I think the last time I saw you was when you were in Detroit, right?
Yeah, I think so. And where'd we go? We went to Powerhouse.
Yep, we went to
Powerhouse gym. Was that?
I think we went to Highland Park. Did we go to? Yeah. Did we go to two of them?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the Ipsy.
Yep.
That was out by the show.
That one's cool. It's
all right.
Highland Park is like got the nostalgia feel to it. You know,
yeah,
all the pictures on the wall, and that was a badass gym.
Yeah, that is a good one. I don't train there all the time, but I just trained back there last week, and Ron Love was there still. He's there every day. You know, Ron Love's still training people out of that gym. Yeah. Well, there's a couple other ones. Next time you're out in the area, we'll have to take you to. And then I think the time before that I saw you was at the Olympia. Maybe that was the last time I saw you since before then. We got to train at a bunch of gyms out there in Las Vegas. Those are great places, man.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with Las Vegas Athletic Club and all those gyms are. Where's the other one we went to where we saw Partlow and
that was
I'm having a brain fart on it.
It said hardcore gym on the sign outside.
It's the one that has all the murals on the wall of everybody. People are right now going to be saying it's that gym, you idiots.
I know. It's like 15 minutes out of town, 10 minutes out of town. I can't remember the name of it either, but it was a good gym. That was cool.
Awesome gym. Small one. That's about the size of our gym.
Is it? So that place is fine, man.
Yeah,
that place has got plenty of space.
Plenty of space, but you can't have 100 people in there or you'll be screwed.
Yeah.
But no, I think we saw you at the Olympia. We saw you at Chicago Pro. I don't remember if that was. I think that might have been after the Olympia that year.
Yeah, that's right. You guys were there. Were you guys doing? Were you working with NPC News or?
I think Haley was doing some commentating for HD Physiques, and which translates into NPC News.
Okay, cool.
And then saw you at Junior Nats one time.
Yes.
Yep. And then Detroit's the last time for sure.
Right on. Is Haley going to be doing anything else with those guys with HD Physique once bodybuilding picks up more, or what has she got going on?
I'm guessing. So she's kind of just been doing. She's been doing almost more like HIIT circuit training type stuff right now.
Really?
Taking a little break, but I'm sure next year once she kind of gets back on the scene, Joe from HD Physiques will be hitting her up to do that stuff.
Yeah.
She's really good at it, like holding interviews and stuff like that. So
yeah, she is.
He likes having her do that. And but yeah, Haley's looking to get back into bodybuilding. I'd say she might compete later next year.
Okay.
Or 2022 at the latest. We might try to start working on making a little kid here soon.
Oh, but no kidding.
I'm okay with just practicing for now. but whatever happens. So we'll see what happens with that. We might give it like 2 years, and if it doesn't work out, then she'll be back at it. Or if it does work out, she'll be back at it. Because Haley loves competing, but just wanted to take a break too and give her body a break, and she's content where she's at right now. And
well, she pushed hard too. For anybody who doesn't know, IFBB pro Haley Delf, she turned pro in figure, and then she didn't even compete in figure. She just moved up to women's physique, and she looked fantastic, man. You guys had done a great job. I know she had to really struggle. Worked with VJ Peary, my co-host over at Bodybuilding Nerds Radio. I know you guys had to really push. I feel like that time off is probably going to be good for her. I bet you that the next time she diets, it's not going to be as hard now that she's had more size. I think it'll be easier next time. I'm going to guess. I'd hope. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And so she turned pro in figure 100% natural, right? And then decided like, man, I want to do physique.
Yeah.
And so she started running a little bit of stuff. And when I say a little bit, for a woman, for most competitive professional women, it was very little compared to what a lot of them take.
Yeah.
And she got freaking huge and looked great in women's physique at her debut. I had her like second call outs, and she ended up being last call.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? She could have been a little bit harder, but fullness, roundness, just overall symmetry and look and prettiness, attractiveness, like all that. I was like, man, I had her like 6th out of 36, and I think they ended up putting her like 30th. So I'm like, man, I get it. It's her first show and first time on the West Coast. Yeah. But so they might have overlooked her a little bit, but who freaking knows? You never know. But yeah, and so she's been completely off everything since last November.
Okay.
And like not even, I wouldn't even say she's like bodybuilding weight training right now. You know, she's, like I said, almost cross training type stuff.
Okay.
So when she does kick it, like mentally get there and kick it into gear, which I can tell she's starting to get the itch already.
Okay.
And then starts running a little bit of gear again. Fuck, I bet she responds like a freak.
I'm sure.
She's got those genetically crazy muscle bellies and biceps. So add a little bit of spice to it. Well, we'll see what happens.
Since you mentioned gear too, I didn't even think about bringing it up till now. I mean, we talked a little bit before. I said, hey, if it comes up, it comes up. But what about in fighting? I mean, not saying like specifically you, but is that something that is done? How do those rules work? Because basically in the IFBB and the NPC, as we know, unless it says it's a tested show, you know, all bets are off.
Yeah, right. So it differs from state commission to commission, state to state.
Okay.
Whether they test you, to my knowledge anyway. Like in Iowa where I'm at, they don't test you for. I think they might be able to.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure the organization has to pay for it or something. It's probably outrageous, you know. So like I've never been tested for a fight until you get up to that like Bellator. UFC level where you're having to deal with USADA or however you say it, the drug administration. I've never heard of them testing MMA guys until you're at that higher level.
Okay.
And I know a lot of fighters you would not even think are on gear. It's just crazy.
Dude, that's like the same thing at the gym. You think this guy's natural 100%. And he's running 2 grams, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm not to name names, but I know guys that like they're a 170-pound fighter and they're taking 500 mgs of test and 20 mgs of Halo or Winnie, or, you know, I'm like, do you even lift? You know?
Yeah.
You don't look like it. But yeah, I mean, guys are taking stuff.
What are the go-to compounds in fighting?
I would say test. Halo's a good one for aggression, and strength.
Yeah.
There's probably maybe Master on for people to get, you know, stay strong and hold on to their muscle mass when they're cutting.
Yeah.
And
that's
probably
that's
too,
speculation.
Yeah, speculation, and probably especially for a guy who had to make weight. I'd have to imagine those drugs, Halo and Master on, things like that. You're not going to be.
A Winnie would make sense.
Yeah. The only thing with Winnie, because I feel like I've always seen a lot of athletes use Winstrol, and I'm always concerned about joints. And I see runners using it, stuff like that. And it's like, why Winstrol? Why not go with, you know, Anavar, something that would be, you know, dry still, but not have that dryness to the joints. That's the only thing, especially I feel like after 6 weeks, all bets are off as far as joints go. You could get an issue, you might not, you know?
Right. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I would say most of the guys, I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm running tests. And I will tell you, compared to bodybuilders, fighters have no clue what they're doing drug wise.
Really?
So I'm like, so what are you taking for an AI?
What's that?
What? Yeah. I don't have any side effects or no nipple sensitivity. I'm like, you should still take something because your estrogen, as your test is going, your estrogen's still going like that. So try to keep that at a normal level. They're like, oh, okay. So you know, you have your teaching moments.
Yeah.
But whereas most bodybuilders, they'll be like, oh yeah, I do this, and that, and I take that because this counteracts that. You know?
We're the opposite. We'll take it way over the top. Yeah,
exactly. But so it's interesting.
Right on, man. Well, listen, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing seeing you put this together for the next fight. I'll have all your information, connections for the gym and for the pay-per-view. of course, to your personal social media, anything else you want to have. We'll have all that down in the show notes. Anybody who wants to check this out. And I highly suggest everybody follow along with what Ryan's doing.
Heck yeah. Thanks for having me, Scott.
Dude, as always, man, it's a pleasure.
Oh, yeah.